I was tempted yesterday to say whether this was the most deflating day that India had in the whole series. Today's first session trumps that. 107 runs for no wickets lost. Joe Root and Ollie Pope have scored 50s. A run-out chance was missed, with Mohammad Siraj, Ravindra Jadeja and all blaming each other for what has gone wrong. Root has now become the outright third highest run getter in tests, and he looks good to surpass even the second highest run getter in tests in the form of Ricky Ponting.
He's only 50 runs away.
50 runs away. 107 runs, 332 for 2, trailing by 26. Guys, nightmare stuff loading, more pain loading. Because in this session, an attempt also was not made to create any form of pressure. What is pressure? I think that has been chucked out of the window. Open fields, runs, boundaries, buffet with silver spoons and silver spokes. Please gorge the runs. What do you think?
I think for the first time when Harshit and I think met today during the day, I just told him that India are in for a long day. And that's going to be the case, more than likely. And I'm not really going to go into the fact that the conditions are favoring England, or this is the thing, or that is the thing. I think, and maybe, Shivam can have a thumb out of it also. I think it's a toothless Indian bowling attack. This is the best thing that I'll say. I'm so sorry to say this, but Anshul KAMBOJ hasn't really looked the part at all. There's a reason why the Indian cricket team wanted him, because they thought that he could be more effective as a new ball bowler than maybe someone like a Siraj, but then that has not been the case at all. He has hardly generated any kind of swing, and with the speed that he's bowling at, I don't think, it's an effective decision that India have taken. On the other hand, for BUMRAH and Siraj also, one thing that I noticed yesterday when I was watching the match, I think the lengths have been pretty much short. You could have maybe a little more consistent with the fullish length, or trying to generate as much swing as you can. Can understand that maybe slightly they have been undone by the conditions, but overall I think for the first time in the series, it is looking to be a deflated bowling attack. That wasn't really the case even in the first couple of test matches, when you had those roads wherein you were playing in Leeds and Edgbaston. But this time around, Manchester always offers something for the bowlers, even if not much, but there's always something. I would say that it's the Indian bowlers who have only themselves to blame.
When I compare the conditions, day 1 conditions, day 2, day 3, let's be honest, the best conditions were day 1. And the team to have gotten those best conditions was the home team. However, is that really the difference between the two sides? Not quite. What I see in terms of the Indian bowling, what I've seen over the last 70 odd overs now, you thought that there'd be a difference from what you saw on day 2 vis-a-vis day 3. However, I've seen much the same. You thought that this break that India got overnight, they'd be getting time to get together, regroup, come up with plans, devise ways of getting the England batters out. But I've seen the same trouble with the Indian bowlers, as was the case just about 15 hours back, so to say. Why I say that is because what were they guilty of yesterday? Spraying the ball across all over. That's exactly what you saw today. We'll get to how exactly is it that each bowler performed, but for the second time I would say in the series, if a Jasprit Bumrah is not able to pick wickets, you've seen now with the others as well. When a Jasprit Bumrah wasn't there at all, you found a way to pick up the wickets. But if a Jasprit Bumrah doesn't have his tail up, and if he's not the one creating all the chances, he was much better today, I would say, than he was yesterday. But even then, I don't see anything happening. And what's the point? And we'll get to that, and maybe that can be a large part of our discussion, with a new ball just being about 6 odd overs away.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, you're right.
You've bowled one of your spinners only 3 overs. So I think India have been guilty. If the runs weren't there, the conditions were against you today, the sun was out yet again, as we saw, much like was the case towards the second half of the day, or following the second session of play, I would say the sun was largely out. the Indian bowlers didn't bowl tight lines. Did you make the English batters fish outside the off stump? Did you come up with those plans? Was there a leg slip in place? Was there enough bouncers being bowled? I don't know if there were batter specific plans, and did India do enough to trouble the English batters? Yes, truth be told, there's nothing that can be done about the pitch. I think England also probably would have struggled on such conditions, but India very guilty of not maintaining their line and length.
Yesterday, you remember in the Stump show, yesterday Nikhil had said crucial first session, series defining. I think now we know, barring a miracle in which you lose 8 wickets for 20 runs, then and only then India are somehow staying alive.
Or you have the miracle of Kolkata in Manchester, where 2 batters bat big.
But then see, that was the thing, the game had moved so quickly. Even if I look at it now, okay, India are going to chase the game from this point on. Second session, you may lose 1 or 2, but England will make India pay for 2 reasons. Now the strategy is clear. Bat once, bat big, ensure BUMRAH is not playing oval. Let's make one thing clear here, with the pace that he's operating at. Even if India make it 2-2 by a miracle at Manchester, he's not playing oval. He can't play oval because he's already bowled 104 overs already. And you're now reaching that point wherein his maximum upper limit is also coming. 10-12 overs more. He'll bowl a burst with the new ball. But after that, what? That is the issue. But if you tire out a Siraj even further, you tire out others also. Jadeja also is proven ineffective. Your bowling unit is in a shambles heading into
Siraj now about 123, Siddharth, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. He may soon overhaul his BGT mark also. He'll soon overhaul that. But today, the deflated bowling was shown. 2 short, 2 wide, third man, you don't have anybody patrolling. You just get free runs there. Edge goes, the fielder's not able to catch it. It goes away to the boundary. Uppercut, can't help it. 2 full, 2 wide, 2 short. On the pads, no penetration, no planning. Gill, not talking to the bowlers much. Shardul, again, 6. Same figures, 6 for 37. 6 overs, none for 37.
Only 1 over for him, and this time around only that 1 over was given because you wanted to exchange ends for Jasprit Bumrah. That's it.
That's the thing.
That's what I think even Ricky Ponting said, that Shubman Gill made a mistake by bowling Jasprit Bumrah more from the Anderson end. He should have maybe had him bowl more from the Statham end. Maybe that was the case.
So I just don't understand what the Indian team were out there doing. I really don't know. Because they have scored.
Let's go one by one, Siddharth. There's so much to talk about. I first want to pick your brains and Gulati's as well on Anshul Kamboj. There is so much being said. WhatsApp groups are buzzing about Anshul Kamboj. Twitter is buzzing about Anshul Kamboj. People are saying this is probably one of the more forgettable Indian debuts that we've seen in recent times by a bowler. I want to know from you guys, what is it that you guys have seen so far? Remember, if there's one chance, a proper chance that's been created besides the run out, it happened on his bowling.
Yep.
That was a dropped catch.
Yes.
And we've seen it for second match in a succession. It happened in Lords as well, where a Dhruv Jurel was standing up to the stumps. He didn't take a similar chance. He didn't bank on a similar chance. He didn't cash in on it. And for the second time, it's repeated. A partnership could have been broken, but it didn't happen. And Anshul Kamboj was the man who could have picked up a second wicket. However, people are looking at what exactly is it that his figures read right now. They're not happy with his pace. They're not happy with what they've seen of Anshul Kamboj. I want to know from you guys, how is it that you guys see?
Were we expecting Anshul Kamboj to run through the England batting lineup with 7 wickets and 7 wickets with 14, 15 wickets in the test match?
Just one line and then you come up. I think that's what maybe the social media users were expecting, because they had already been impressed by what Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Praveen Kumar had done in their previous tours of England. This time around, you expected the same thing from Anshul Kamboj. I'll get to, but what my personal opinion is, but that's what the social media users expected.
At least when you spoke about Bhuvneshwar and Praveen Kumar, at least they have had first class experience Tons of it. Heading into test match cricket. And again, what I have been saying, as a debutant, the worst place to make your debut is England. Because you don't know what is the lengths you'll have to bowl. You don't know what's the line you have to bowl. Conditions vary. In Manchester, the length would have been slightly fuller. Leeds would have been of a good length. Lords could have been different of the slope. You can't expect everybody to just shine through in their first tour of England. It just isn't happening. Yes, Praveen Kumar got 5 for 106 at Lords in his first trip there. But then, what did he do after that? He got injured. He didn't play after that. He was a workhorse. Anshul Kamboj, you were impressed with 2 test matches that he played in Beckenham. Unofficial. But then the conditions in Beckenham, the kind of batting that you had
was very green.
Yes.
Very green. The Beckenham surface, if you see, was very green in comparison.
Is this green? Not a shred of it. You want to fast track players thinking that, okay, I will get a Harshit Rana part 2.
But one thing, Siddharth, from the Anshul Kamboj that we saw yesterday, the Anshul Kamboj that we seeing today, who largely bowled with the keeper up, is there a notice is there something that you noticed there? Any difference? If you ask me, I think I saw him have better control when the keeper was up to the stumps, and that one chance that was created as well that I just alluded to. Yeah. To be fair to the bowler, the keeper's got to take it. If the keeper is standing up to the stumps, then the keeper has to take it. It took a very faint deviation. It took a very faint part of the batter's glove. But listen, these are the chances that you have to take. And if you ask me, I see a difference in him having greater control when he's bowling with the keeper up. That is what I noticed about Anshul Kamboj. I'm not too worried about what speed that he's bowling at. What matters to me is how is it that he's bowling. If you hadn't come in with the reputation, you're not Mayank Yadav who comes in with the reputation of instilling fear in the mind of the batter with your pace. That's not your USP. Your USP is swing bowling, your ability to extract something out of the pitch. That is what we'd heard of Anshul Kamboj. So yeah, your thoughts when it comes to him bowling with the longer run up with the keeper standing at the back vis-a-vis the keeper standing up to the stumps.
I think you nailed it on the head that yes, he seems to be having a bit more control. But on your question of whether it's the most poorer debuts that I've seen from an Indian bowler, no, there have been worse. I mean, Vinay Kumar at Perth 2012.
Oh,
that was his test career. His dream got shattered. Harshit Rana did well at Perth, but then after that in Adelaide, what happened? He got helpful conditions even there.
He got that wicket of head, I remember.
In Perth, you mean? Yeah, he got it. But then, what's happened with Harshit Rana? Why are you so adamant? Why is this current dispensation so adamant on fast tracking people? Why? Only for them to just fade away later on. It's like you got a blowtorch, but then now it's been reduced to only a candle.
And that's what even I don't understand, that you have actually pushed back someone like a Prasidh Krishna who was growing in confidence after those first couple of matches. See, it did make sense to leave out Prasidh Krishna from the third test because, you would have Jasprit Bumrah back, Akashdeep had taken a 10 wicket. Also, in a way, by cricketing logic, it does make sense. But, now coming back to Anshul Kamboj thing, the question that Harshit has asked, I think when the keeper is not standing up, Anshul Kamboj hasn't really looked threatening at all. Whatever damage that he can cause has been negated beautifully by Joe Root here, because he just steps out, covers the off stump, and he's just, flicking him around, or maybe, playing those cover drives. So from that perspective, even if, there is any kind of swing that Anshul Kamboj would generate or could have generated, I think that has been negated by Joe Root by stepping out of the crease. Now, when you know that the keeper is standing up, maybe he has some kind of control, because that there can be a nick that can be generated here. There can be a slight maybe he can vary with the lengths a lot more. But then whether that's good enough for him to whether that's good enough for Anshul Kamboj to produce a match winning spell, I'm not really sure about it. I think just from that perspective, nothing against him. It's just that quality wise, I would have had Prasidh Krishna on such kind of a track. Even if, let's say Prasidh's figures would have been 15 over 72. I can say this with some surety, not obviously with 100% surety, but I can say this with almost 80-90% surety, that the wickets column would have been about 2 or 3.
I have one more question.
And social media, I think let's not keep it as a benchmark. There are too fickle or they're too
when I say
impatient.
social
Just
media,
trying to
this
tell
is
you, yeah,
this
that's
is
it.
I'm taking everyone into I'm including everyone over here. I'm not just saying random faceless people on social media. I'm including even some genuine handles let's say that are out there, and let's say the friends and the family members who are also avid cricket watchers. People aren't happy in general is the sentiment I could at least gauge. The other question, do we now see Anshul KAMBOJ bowling again in this test match?
Absolutely, yeah, that's going to happen.
No.
See, bowling again, yeah.
I think he's saying that bowl bat once, bat big in that kind of a
Yes.
situation.
Okay, from that perspective,
Yes.
it's a tough one, but going by what is happening now, and my obviously thought process can change, as the match progresses, but what's the current condition? It's a no.
It's not looking good. I don't see any of our bowlers bowling for the second time in this test match. Because England, what is their plan? As I mentioned, they want to achieve two things. Overcook all the bowlers, because your turnaround time for oval is only 3 days after the end of the test match. That is, if you are going into the 5th day. Looking at the way, England will now want to bat another 4 sessions.
And you're not just cooking the bowlers.
You are ensuring
You are tiring out the fielders
Yeah.
who will have to come out to bat after a 10-minute break.
I think it's
whenever that declaration is in, or whenever that they get bowled
they
out.
want to repay Edgbaston in kind. Get a total in excess of 550, tire out the bowlers, ensure that whatever we see the 11 at the oval are just men walking on adrenaline. That's it. Simple. They have no energy. This test match has shown your spirit has left you, your bodies are in Manchester, but your mind is still at Lord's.
I think the point is that I don't even see England batting 4 sessions. At max, tomorrow's morning session, because if they continue to bat in the manner that they are currently, clearly we are looking at a lead of about 200 or 220 odd as the day finishes today. So clearly it's a 200.
They
plus
want a
that
lead
they are
of
looking.
300 plus.
And that they are going to get after the first session tomorrow. So that's happening anywhere around 300, and I think India would have a lot of catching up to do. Obviously we'll talk about India's strategy tomorrow, but I think the only thing that can probably save India as of now, and that's what even Siddharth also pointed. I'm not really expecting England to lose 8 wickets for 20 runs, but you need a collapse for India to make a comeback into the match.
Are we seeing that collapse happen though? At the moment, if you ask me about the insipid bowling and the lifeless wicket, you put those two things together, I'm wondering now, and I'm worried, how is it that I get those 8 wickets across, let's say, 55 to 60 overs that I'll be bowling in the 2 sessions to come? I don't have an answer.
Your next hope is coming.
And I'm worried for the very reason that Jasprit Bumrah is looking off colour for the second time in this series only. He's human after all, as we saw in the first innings at Lords, where he didn't pick up a wicket.
No, he picked up 2 wickets.
He picked up a 5 for there.
Lords and
He picked up 2 wickets and 5 wickets in the first
he
innings.
did not pick up a wicket in the second innings of the Leeds
Leeds test. Yes, but so he's human after all, right? And that's allowed to a Jasprit Bumrah. So it's only happening to him for the second time in this series. So if that doesn't happen, if Jasprit Bumrah is not the catalyst, who is it that can spark this collapse for the England team? I don't quite know an answer at the moment.
See, you've got a hope in 6 overs time for the new ball, okay? But by that 6 overs time, England would have already taken the lead, okay? Now, how much would you want to limit the lead to for India to even have a sniff of a chance? 100, 150? In that range, you want to restrict them to even have a sniff of a chance.
You look at their batting lineup, it's not even ending at Jamie Smith, Liam
Which is
Dawson,
why that
Wokes.
answer has been
Correct.
done.
I think we are easily looking at a lead of at least 200, and I'm saying at least 200.
See,
Yeah.
Brooke, Stokes, and you've not come to the best England batter in the series so far, Jamie Smith. Brooke has got the ideal platform. Go bananas. Smith's got the platform. Go bananas. Dawson, no mug with the bat. Wokes, no mug with the bat. Cars, Archer can hang in, score those 10-20 runs. India are
We
having
had that thing, na? Yesterday we talked about how the last 4.
They've gotten more runs than
Yes,
more first class runs
More
than
first
India's
class run
top
than
four,
India's
yeah.
top 4.
Exactly. Which is why Stokes, we are having that debate on day 1. Did Stokes misread the condition? I can safely say now, no, he didn't.
No, I had said it even at
Yeah.
that time. If there was any juice in the pitch, if there were best bowling conditions, they were there on day 1. And remember, he'd stuck his neck out and he'd taken up the criticism even on day 1 in Leeds, where everyone was like, why is it when the sun's out, you decided to go ahead and put the opposition into bat? India did well on day 1, but who's it that ended up winning and having the final laugh? It's the English. Ben Stokes was vindicated inside 5 days.
And also indicated Lords.
And also vindicated at Lords. No matter how close India were or England were run by India, ultimately
The scoreline of 22-run victory matters. So that's
Absolutely.
why you are staring at a nightmare. If I thought day 2 was deflating, if India don't
So the best hope for India is the new ball now.
only,
Or is it really the last hope?
it's the last hope. It's your last hope. Because if you get 3-4 wickets with the new ball in that period of 15 to 20 overs, then you have a chance. But if it's only 2 wickets and you managed to pile on runs in the second session as well as first hour of third session today, you're done for.
Do we fear that India might have to take another new ball after this?
No, I am not looking at them. Although if they want 650, they may have to take a third new ball.
But that'll only be tomorrow then.
That'll be tomorrow.
See,
Yeah.
I think England, obviously, their strategy would be to bat India out of the contest, but they would know that if they bat for another 3 sessions, easily a lead is going to come of about 300, 350, and that's good enough.
I have a feeling they may not necessarily take things to tomorrow. Not necessarily.
So he's suggesting that they'll play baseball 7th gear and they'll get to 250 run lead now, declare tonight, and
Perhaps. You know why? Or maybe they don't necessarily play for a long time in the first session tomorrow, because they want a result out of this and they are the only team that can hope for a bright result out of this situation. What if they have their eye? One eye is also looking at day 5 weather prediction and they don't want to take a chance. They know, and they've been once bitten at this very venue. They were denied by rain.
yeah, they
Ashes.
were. Ashes 2023. Yeah. See, that is also possible. So, yeah, like what Gulati said, bat once 1 hour of 4th day tomorrow. You were already got a lead of 300 plus.
And that's enough.
Get them in and blast them out. But anyway, see, the weather forecast for day 5 is somewhat similar to what was on day 2.
Like there are going to be, spells of rain, but are we expecting, for the day to be completely washed out? It does not look
that won't
like that as of now.
But yeah, I mean, it can benefit both as England have an additional day of rest if you wrap the test up in 4 days. And you won the series, India are deflated. And you just go into Oval to pick up the pieces. That's how it will be. And that is why, see, you have to raise questions now at India's batting approach.
One last question, and I think we can get into the comments after that. Shubman Gill's captaincy, how is it that this obsession and this philosophy of playing, of having your batting till number 8 and then ensuring that you get 6 bowling options as well, that you don't fully use those 6 bowling options? And that's not happening for the first time in the series. Shardul Thakur was underbowled. So is this a case of a captain being slow to learn from mistakes?
I can understand one thing, that it's inexperience. And to be honest, I'm not really going to blame him much for what has happened today. It has happened with, even the best of the Indian captains, has happened with Kohli, has happened with Dhoni multiple times, has happened with Saurav Ganguly.
Rohit also.
Many, several Indian captains. So I'm sure that, he's going to learn with experience. So that's not a problem area at all. Any which ways, we all were discussing about this thing that, barring what has currently happened at Manchester, I think this Indian team has exceeded expectations. Even in case of captaincy, Gill has been pretty good in patches. Although his batting has been found wanting in those tricky conditions, Pant has been your best batter, KL Rahul has been one of your best batters. So all these things have clicked. But I think if there's one thing that maybe Gill, Gambhir and maybe the other important stakeholders of the support staff, they need to sit and understand one thing, that this is not T20 cricket. you need to have specialist bowlers. You are actually destroying the career of a Kuldeep Yadav. You're actually destroying your chances of winning against an England team that is pretty average on paper. I'm telling you this thing very honestly, that there have been better England teams who have actually been beaten also by the likes of Australia, Pakistan, even India for that matter. But this is an England team that could have been beaten very, very, easily, just from the perspective, because you see, had you played maybe more specialists, had you had maybe, Kuldeep Yadav played more consistently, I'm sure, things would have been different. So I think India have only themselves to blame. It is the team selection. And if the team selection is being done by the captain alone, then from that perspective, Gill has to be blamed.
As I said, captaincy is a crown of thorns in the Indian setup. He's learning it the hard way. On hard days like this, you'll figure out, like, how will you innovate? How will you ideate? How will you get the breakthrough? How will you rotate your bowlers? On all those fronts in trying to be proactive, so far in the day, he's failed. Gill's not lived up to the mark yet. And Gulati, I was surprised. Are you saying that a 3-1 series loss or a 4-1 series loss, you won one test match and you pushed the England team, is that an achievement for you, for this Indian side?
I never said that, it's an achievement. What I'll tell you is that,
have you still overachieved?
Before the beginning of this test, you weren't there because there was a week off that you had. So Harshit was there, I was there, and there was Nikhil. We basically discussed one thing, that this Indian team has basically exceeded expectations. That was the thing. Even in Leeds you fought, you won Edgbaston, you breached the fortress Edgbaston. In Lords also, until the end of day 4, before you had lost those 4 wickets, 58 for 4, you were pretty much in the game. So just from that perspective, we were discussing that how this team has actually exceeded expectations. But what has happened?
Very generous.
Yeah, but what has happened in Manchester now, I think it's completely toothless. That's the only thing we'll say.
Exceeded expectations
but for me, there's no hiding from the fact that your bowlers for the second time in the series haven't been optimally utilized. That's not a good start for any captain, I would say. You expect better, especially because, it's... While I understand red ball, white ball, you shouldn't be confusing formats and all. This is basic utility of bowlers, basic extraction of the resources that you have. And he's somebody who's been captaining a franchise in the IPL, and he knows he's used to doing faster calculations over a 3-hour period, which is tougher where the game slips, within 10 minutes. If you don't bring in the right change, you still get more time, as they say in test cricket, even though here as well things can change rapidly at times, but comparatively you get some more room in terms of thinking on your feet. Both the times you're expected to come up with decisions, but it cannot be so prolonged. It cannot be the way that we've seen 2 times in the series now, that bowlers are being underutilized. 63 overs and Washington Sundar was nowhere to be seen. It's only over the last 13 overs that were bowled that we saw 3 overs from Washington Sundar. And can I also remind you guys of what Shardul Thakur said yesterday in the press conference? He talked about how bowling less overs can often impact the rhythm as well. You're hearing it from the bowling as well,
and
from
to
the bowling
hear
department.
it during an Indian PC from an Indian player.
Yes.
It's a dig. It's a dig at his utilization.
Captain, yeah.
It's a dig at the captain. 6 overs done for 37. Okay, have we gone back to Leeds? That's what I'm looking at Shardul Thakur for. I mean, Shubman Gill at this point in time, I told Nikhil the same thing, and we'll possibly after August 5, we have to do Shubman Gill pre-Lords and Shubman Gill post-Lords, because there is a clear-cut demarcation.
The batter.
The batter and also captain. Because captain Lords, he found false hopes in the form of, spirit of the game. Spirit of the game, okay, I agree that fine. 90 seconds, that was unacceptable what Crawley and Duckett did. It was clear gamesmanship. But again, is it anything surprising from England? They have always done it.
All teams would do.
All teams would do. But then moaning and groaning about the spirit of the game in a different context. I mean, that highlighted Gill, when your captain is frazzled, the team gets frazzled.
Yeah.
And that is what he's inheriting, a very mixed legacy. Virat's horses for courses, Rohit's underutilization all have come in a hodgepodge in this current regime at this point.
Okay, last question for you guys before we get into the comments, and we've still got 7-8 minutes. A quick word on the two England batters. If there was one word perhaps to describe the two, I'd go with the word cruise control.
I think Joe Root has been an absolutely brilliant. For Ollie Pope, we know one thing, that he's obviously a nervous starter, and that has been the case, throughout his career. So today, you could have maybe put more pressure on him by having more attacking field sets, by having fielders at those unorthodox fielding positions. But that wasn't really the case. There was no innovation whatsoever, and you've actually allowed Ollie Pope to be in a position where he can easily score a double hundred.
Yeah, ruthless, and Pope. Yeah,
Prospering.
He is prospering. But then who survived that LBW shot? Root, but the delivery was going down leg side.
The catch, I think, was
Pope. And you missed a run out. So England have gotten Sone pe Suhaga in all those kind of things. So that's why India themselves miss a run out. The angle, yet again, clear cut, it was going down. Like we thought it would at best be clipping. Why go for a review? So over enthusiasm, that is the problem. And again, I'm saying, with the likes of bowlers, especially Mohammad Siraj, please temper his DRS. Please temper it. Virat also, into cutlet, would go for DRS if he felt that, okay, I'm going for it, but he got most of it wrong. Virat's, if anybody can have a data analysis of Virat Kohli getting his DRS right, I would be shocked if he ever got it right, because his percentages would have been abysmal. Same, Siraj also, abysmal when you have to look at his. He got Lords right. Credit to him. He got one decision at Lords right.
I think Root it was.
Yes. But then,
that leg before.
Other end and that end.
That leg before call.
He's been abysmal, Mohammad Siraj, with DRS. So that's why anything that could go wrong is going wrong. And I thought day 2, last session, I thought was deflating. This trumps it.
So now you're saying the tires punctured.
Yeah. And only the new ball with a new set of tires could get some hope. But see, you're staring at a lead. And how big the lead will be, the more the lead is, the more deflated you become. That's how it is. And Rajat Agarwal is just saying, whole fast bowling is injured or tired. Should there be a reflection upon back-to-back away 5-5 match test series considering modern day bowlers' appetite? Tell that to the broadcasters.
Whole IPL in the middle, yaar. What 5-5? You had a good 3-4 month gap in between, and then you came back to playing the other 5 match series, na?
Yeah.
What is the ICC supposed to do about that?
What can we do, Rajat Agarwal? Ask the
that
broadcasters also.
Ended in January first week. When did we begin with this one? June. Mid-June.
Yeah.
6 months, 5.5 months.
You play an IPL, that's the thing. Ashish, the India forego the current test, no point playing. You have to still play this match, my friend. And see, you have to understand one thing, you will encounter these days. And for India, you should be immune to the pain. In England 2011, those who experienced it, you should be immune to it.
That was a battering, Siddharth.
Edgbaston.
Battering.
England racked up 700 plus. Cook 294.
Cook double.
Would have gotten to a triple.
Yeah.
But then India absolutely capitulated in that. So you have to be immune to that.
That's a scar on Indian cricket fans' mind.
Exactly. You were hammered 4-0 and the margins were not even close. You got hammered in Australia, although one test the margin was close, but it didn't suggest otherwise. Melbourne, you were in with some amount of a chance, but then you didn't even come close. So that's why, no, you play, experience the pain, learn. Oval series is gone, try playing for pride. But why are they showing visuals of Jassi? Oh, okay.
I think he was just warming up.
Warming
He
up.
looks fine.
Yeah. But then his pace is down. Space is down. And he's trying something from the deck, but I don't know what is going on at this stage. So, yep. Or he was seen clutching his knee or something in that sense.
Something feels odd.
Yeah, but I think we'll probably... I think he's fine. Yeah.
Just hitting his straps.
Hitting his straps. Yeah.
Looks fine.
Just see. But then see, now believe in just see and all that kind of things. How much can you limit the lead to? That is going to be the main thing. So yeah, it's not looking good. Day 3, first session, England didn't lose a single wicket when you felt that this was the best of the conditions you could do in. What?
He's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine in that sense. So, yep. Let's take one, two comments more and then we'll just have a session prediction then. Under Gambhir, Abhishek Das is saying, we lost against New Zealand, Australia, and we are now going to go down against England as well.
She's conceded defeat.
Yeah.
He's considered defeat, yeah. Aryan Karanwal is saying, admit that India does not have good bowling if conditions does not support. And same if conditions are bad, our batting is only 30%. Maybe records supports this. You're right, Aryan. You are not wrong in making that assumption that who lost you the BGT? It was your batters. We have always been saying in the BGT, that BGT of 24-25 remembered as not India versus Australia, it was BUMRAH versus Australia. Your batters were abysmal in Australia, barring one test, which you won. Oh. There it was Jaiswal with a daddy 100. But then check Adelaide.
Adelaide, you were nowhere in the contest.
Check Melbourne, check Sydney.
Sydney, Siddharth, let's be honest, last day you were a bit hopeful that if Justice there, perhaps. I know we were expecting too much, but it's not like there was no contest at the start of day 5. But we were all excited.
Day 3. It didn't go to 5 days. 5th test, yeah. So, yeah, you're right at this point in time. Just go up a bit. I can't take all these things, yeah. Freaking awesome. It's game over for India. Batting becomes a bit difficult in the 3rd and 4th innings. 294 is the highest ever recorded chase at Manchester in the 4th innings. We lost the battle in batting itself.
Correct.
Indeed. So see, if England notch up a lead in excess of 250, 300, gone. You're only seeing 2 results possible.
While I know much of the questions have been directed towards the bowlers for the last 2 sessions of cricket that we've seen in this test match, but what you've also realized in these last 2 sessions is that the Indian batters did not make hay in sunshine.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Once they got their foot in, let's not forget that the responsibility also stops with the batters.
And just let us...
For all the starts that the Indian batters got, look what England have shown you.
Yeah.
That once you dig in, you make a big score out of it, and all 4 batters
have
that
gotten 50 plus.
Exactly. What
Check out our top 4 and compare our top 4.
We were looking at it. Sai Sudarshan played 150 deliveries. There were 98 deliveries or something that Yashasvi Jaiswal played. Yeah. KL Rahul, 107 and 98 in fact was for KL Rahul. Yeah. So everyone had spent enough time. You look at all your batters till number 7, including a Washington Sundar. Everyone had played anywhere between 23 to 107 deliveries, 151 deliveries.
Yep, indeed. So
you just didn't kick on.
Yep.
One last comment by Shiva before we wrap things up. Are India missing Shami's reverse swing? I don't really think that would have had much of a difference, but maybe to an extent you can say.
No, with this new batch of Duke's ball, with all these kind of things with different conditions, I don't think you could have had reverse swing at this point in time. But yeah, session predictions, what do you think, guys, before we call it?
England are, for me, they are crossing 450 at the loss of 1 wicket and inching towards a lead of 100. About 100.
Harshad, that means they are
120 odd runs.
120 runs.
I'll make that 112 runs perhaps. So there'll be 345 or 445. But I don't see them losing more than 1 wicket.
More than 1 wicket. 125 for 2 in this session for England, meaning that they score. There'll be 4 wickets. They are 458 when you look at it. So they would have got a lead of 100.
Okay, one more question, and that'll be the last one. Will we see a new second highest run scorer in Test cricket emerge in this session?
Absolutely, that's happening. Yeah, 100%.
No.
He's getting out.
See, he needs 50 more, right?
Yeah.
So if he scores another 56, he scores another 40. But Root has had this tendency, he doesn't score a daddy 100. So I'd say he scores 45 runs more, 45, 50 runs more. But I think the chance of him getting to...
Chili Paneer wants 357 all out.
357 all out.
So how do you do that? We're what? 13 runs?
Another 23 runs.
8 wickets.
57 is
Chili Paneer, this to you. Please. It's not happening. So I say 125 for 2. England have a lead of exactly 100 by the end of the session. and 2 wickets are coming courtesy of the second new ball.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't see Root crossing though. Ponting. I don't think he's crossing.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see how these predictions
See
go.
you for the tea break. Or if
Yeah.
the miracle and innings break happens, let's see.
Or if
No rain.
nothing from upstairs.
Yeah. Let's see. So bye-bye. See you for the tea break, folks. From all of us, we'll join you soon. Lot of videos on Sports Today. Do check that out. Bye-bye.